Here we are at the Michigan International Speedway for the running of the Great Clips 200 as we narrow down to the final few races before the chase for the Pennzoil Truck Series Championship starts. Before we get going, let's take a look at our 36 truck field here today. On the pole of the 10 of Cortez Newman, 2's outside, 3 of Jeff Bright, and 30 of Max Harrison, 4th Louis Jack Cable, and running up the top 5 got Roland Emmerich, 2's outside his teammate, and 6th Luke Rainier points leader. Then Joe Jefferson, 7th Carter Friesen, 8th Noah Ely, 9th, and James Barker rounding out the top 10. The rest of the field will go Brandon Thunder and 2's outside Junior Ramos. Behind them, Josiah Kaufman, 2nd in points, Trey Rainey. They got Jeremy Heath and DJ Reed along with Julius Anderson and Derek Hamill. Then Code Luigi and Josh Samito, Avi Hernandez and Isaac Nichols. They got Jason Larker and Alex Stewart, Tim Gary 3rd in points, and then JJ Reed. They got Taylor Brian Price and Alexander Rowe. Adam Lewis and Laughter Stu Cole, Eli Bright and Jake Moss. They got Racer and Bentley Pierce, and then Cynthia Bright starting in the last position. She remember qualified up front the last few races, so friends here back here in 36 to her inside the 84. Michael Cantos got 35th. So as your starting lineup here at Michigan, as we now go down trackside to the command. See that all 36 trucks fire up and roll off here for the Great Clips 200 at Michigan. A race which last season was pretty wild. We saw a wreck to end the race with many of your leaders involved. Let's see how this one goes here this season. It's going to be 15 laps on this 2-mile D-shaped oval in the state of Michigan. That's the pace truck getting ready to make that left-hand turn to pit road. Cortez Newman on the pole. Jeff Bright to his outside as they come into the front straightaway. There goes the pace truck into pit road. Getting set to go green. To the stripe that will come. Cortez Newman with the pole. Chooses the inside lane for the start of the race as the green flag is waving. We're racing here at Michigan. Both lanes pretty even as they go down the back straightaway. Cortez in with the inside. Jeff Bright with a big push on the outside. Gets side by side with that 10 truck. There we go. 3 wide for the race lead now. Max Harrison to the bottom lane, number 60. 4 wide. Here comes Roland Emmerich. An aggressive move to get to the race lead. Jeff Bright to the wall. Saves it. Some other trucks get into the walls. Roland Emmerich does lead this lap. 5 bonus points for him as they're shuffling behind. As Jeff Bright hit the wall, he came down to the pack and almost wrecked. Luckily, he didn't do that, as now Cortez Newman gets into the wall. That was your pole sitter. Joe Jefferson with the peak to the inside as they come down off of 2. Keeping it in a big pack. Joe Jefferson trying to lead this lap. He's up there in points. He needs a victory to get into the chase. Avi Hernandez down low, almost to the apron. Hangs on to it. Now Noah Ely shuffles Jefferson to the outside lane. Some great racing up front so far. Emmerich now into the wall. Almost down to his teammate Luke Rainier to take evasive action. Side draft Carter Friesen there. Ely leads that lap. Emmerich now slows the cars behind him. Joe Jefferson to the wall entering turn 1. As Julius Anderson will get to the race lead off of turn number 2. Max Harrison now looking to his inside. DJ Reed as well. Oh, shuffling there. Code Luigi to the wall just a little bit. Saves it. Keeping it going, no caution. With how they're racing, there's going to be a caution very, very shortly as they're going 3 and 4 wide. Julius Harrison now going to climb the racetrack in the number 98. He's going to get into the wall for 4. He comes down. This time they're wrecking. Anderson goes around, gets hit a few more times. Trey Rainey 2nd in points involved, and they're stacking them up. The 11 goes upside down. And about 10 trucks involved. Yellow will come out. And there's even more involved up ahead. Look at the 60, Max Harrison. He was from the race. He's blown up. He got back in front, but he blows up. He's not going to lead them back. As now your race leader is going to be the 75 of DJ Reed. 2nd will be Josh Samito, and Luke Rainey will now be in the 3rd position. So let's see what happened to start that wreck. I don't know who the first to go around was. Try and refresh memory. See, look at all these trucks involved. Well, let's see what happens. Second in points, Trey Rainey wanted them to go around. Coming off of 4, they're 4 wide. They've done that every lap, and it was only a matter of time before someone hit the wall and came down to the pack. Exactly what happens for Julius Harrison. He hits, goes down to Noah Ely. They both spin up to the outside wall. Alex Stewart gets damaged. They were all fine, but Anderson spins into the middle of the pack, gets James Barker, gets Trey Rainey, Cortez Newman, Luigi Octavo, Bentley Pierce, Ray Sir, Lafter, Duke Cole, Jeremy Heath, Cole Luigi go flying in there. Derek Hamill hits Julius Anderson hard in that number 98 and the 30. They hit head on. 98 and 30 spin down to the inside. And I would wager that's going to take about 10, 12 trucks out of this race, as there were some very hard hits. Look at this from multiple angles, obviously. There's a lot more to the wreck than just that happening right there. The 11 goes upside down. Some other trucks get some even more damage than that. 11 went upside down. Look at this from a different angle. See right here, Anderson up against the wall. He hits it, goes down. Noah Ely's there. They both spin to the outside wall. Ely and Stewart get away, but they have some heavy damage to their trucks. And then look at the hits for some of these guys up here. Just nowhere for these guys to go. Cynthia Bright gets spun around and all that. I believe she's actually fine. Look at this from a different angle once again. Off the corner into the wall. And then Trey Rainey and James Barker come in here. They can't really stop. They couldn't go high or low. And oh, Derek Hamill, that's a really, really hard hit for him. And then Bentley Pierce, of course, gets flipped over, as we mentioned. Just trying to get a truck in the middle of all this madness. See if we can see everything that really happened there, some of the hits. Right there you see most of the hits. The 11 just gets flipped over. Canto had it missed, and then he went down to the grass and got Jeremy Heath in the process. So, very, very big crash. Here early in this race, Max Harrison led them back but blew up. The 75 DJ Reed will now be your race leader, as they, of course, stay out on the racetrack in the 75 truck. Trying to get another victory this season, Hilly is back to the green flag. Comebacker in lap 8, and as we mentioned, a lot of trucks are going to be retired from that crash. Derek Hamill, Julius Anderson, Bentley Pierce, Ray Sir, Brandon Thunder, Code Luigi, Cortez Newman, Trey Rainey, second in points, James Barker. They were all out because of that crash, and then a camshaft issue for the 60 of Max Anderson while leading the race. So we have 26 trucks left. Out front, you have DJ Reed in the 75. In second, you have Josh Mio. Third is Luke Rainey. Fourth, Carter Friesen. And rounding up the top 5, we got Josiah Kaufman. Then Junior Ramos in 6th, Avi Hernandez 7th, Isaac Nichols 8th, Jeff Bright 9th and 3rd points, Tim Gary rounding up the top 10. The green flag is back waving. Josh Mio does not get a great restart, and DJ Reed gets a wave. However, the draft will definitely propel everyone back together. Carter Friesen is going to split your points leader to the top lane. Luke Rainey going to be 3 wide going into turn 1 and 2 on this restart. He was 3rd. Josh Mio got a bad restart. He tried to get to the outside because remember, you cannot pass down low before that start-finish line. Pass to the high side, though, if anyone has an issue. Down the back they come. Big drafting lanes, the top and the bottom lane. Josiah Kaufman has a push from Junior Ramos, Avi Hernandez, and Jeff Bright. Also on this bottom lane. DJ Reed cannot keep it down to the bottom lane. Kaufman gives him a little bit of a bumper. They're going to go 3 wide now. Junior Ramos to the bottom. 3 wide works. 4 wide is where it gets a little on the edge, as Ramos, I believe, leads this lap. But there, oh! Friesen spun around on the front stretch, and we get a big crash. Friesen goes upside down. Isaac Nichols also up and over. Luke Rainey, your points leader. Racing back here, and not many trucks are left. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Possible 6, 7 trucks without damage now. To lead them back to the yellow, it's going to be Junior Ramos, but Carter Friesen got spun on the straightaway. Not where you expect to get spun around. Ramos leads them back as the 22 truck running in the middle of the pack gets spun. There's heavy damage to all sides of that 22 truck as he went flipping, as you remember. Let's check out what happened. We talked about 4 wide. We were talking about 4 wide in the corners. 4 wide down the straightaway usually works. It just looks like Friesen did not give Jeff Bright enough room in the middle there. See, Friesen is down low a little bit. He actually goes down and into Jeff Bright. Bright nowhere to go, can't lift in time. Jeff gets spun around to Avi Hernandez, and then Carter Friesen gets lifted up off the ground, comes back down, but then Roland Emmerich flips him over. Luke Rainey, your points leader, and then Isaac Nichols gets hit by Taylor Brian Price in the banking. It just flips that 29 truck over. I don't think I've ever seen something like that happen. I believe I saw Eli and Cynthia make contact right there in the 2 and 33 trucks. Isaac Nichols comes down the banking, almost collects Luigi Octavo. that was a pretty big crash there down the straightaway. Something I don't think I've ever seen happen here at Michigan, and it just happened here today. Avi Hernandez, Josiah Kaufman, DJ Reed was able to save the truck. He got some minimal rear end damage. I believe Joe Jefferson escaped through that without much damage, if any. Look at this from a few different angles here. See if we can get the best camera angle for what just happened. Tim Gary did a great job of saving that truck. He was down the apron, as I believe all three Brights really had contact with one another. Eli and Cynthia made contact, and then before that, I believe Eli and Jeff also made contact. Jeff Bright should be fine, but Eli and Cynthia do have some pretty heavy damage. Look at this from another angle. See, car just keeps coming down. Jeff's there. Jeff can't go any lower. He has a truck below him. Possibly something Friesen Spire has to work on there, actually telling Friesen that he does have a truck below him. Jason Larker hits a few times. Jake Moss, I think, escaped without any damage in that. So let's go on board with your points leader, Luke Rainey. He was in the middle of that front pack this whole race, and now he has a ton of damage. I believe his truck was also up off the ground. The good thing left for Luke Rainey is that he doesn't have race-ending damage. It doesn't look like he should be able to continue on. Tim Gary, third in points, narrowly escapes. Great save by Tim Gary. He was sideways on the apron. He holds on to it. The 9, Joe Jefferson with an onboard. Does he make any contact? Wow. Can't be any closer without being involved. And one more, the truck went upside down, Isaac Nichols. Had it, and they got clipped by the 22 flipping. And he was just along from the ride from there. Luckily, it doesn't look like he got hit anymore. So, to lead them back, it was Junior Ramos in the 81. Of course, he's going to stay out. And it'll be a restart with about 2 laps to go here at Michigan. Who's going to win to get into the chase? Come back to the restart with 2 laps to go at Michigan. So it'll be 4 miles once we take the line because of that crash. Jason Larker, Isaac Nichols, and Carr Friesen retired. So there's still 23 trucks left in the race. As you mentioned, your points leader, Luke Rainey, stayed in because that damage wasn't bad. So he can just sputter around, maybe gain a position or 2. So out front, you have the 81, Junior Ramos trying to hold on and win. Behind him in second, it's Adam Lewis in the 19. Tim Gary in third, DJ Reed in fourth, Avi Hernandez with some damage to that number 92 in fifth. Then you got Joe Jefferson in sixth, Ron Emmerich with damage in seventh, Josh Schmidt with a ton of damage in eighth, Taylor Ryan Price also damaged in ninth, and Jake Moss rounding out the top 10. See Alex Stewart coming down pit road, JJ Reed and some others don't have noses on their trucks. Be interesting restart here for sure. 2 to go to win at Michigan. The green flag is back out on the Great Clips 200. We are back racing at Michigan. And you have to stay to the bottom lane if you want to have a shot. Truck's blocking. Truck's trying to move out of the way. Jeff Bright blocked into the wall. I believe Jake Moss may have just blocked Jeff up into the wall right there. 2 trucks pull away. But if they get side by side, the draft will propel third on back together as they go down the back straightaway. This draft will be huge for third on back. Look at Tim Gary's already creeping into the picture. If they stay side by side down the front stretch, it'll definitely help them as well. Coming to the white flag, they're 3 wide for fourth. Joe Jefferson goes to the bottom lane. They come off of fourth. They make it to the white flag. This race will be official. They do. One more time around Michigan. 2 miles left. Adam Lewis with the race lead. Tim Gary trying to run down. Joe Jefferson is there in the number 9 truck. They hit turn number 1. Tim Gary looking to the inside. I want to be where either the 4 or the 9 is right now as they go down the back straightaway, unless the 92 makes a move. Gary almost spun by Joe Jefferson. He saves it. Down the back. Still side by side. Does Joe Jefferson peek out 3 wide? If he does, it's going to be a drag race to the line. Here he goes to the bottom lane. Who gets it at Michigan off of 4? For the chase, this is Joe Jefferson. Sees him right here. To the stripe. Joe Jefferson with the run. Tim Gary off the top side. And Joe Jefferson gets the victory at Michigan in a photo finish with Tim Gary and a last lap pass. That's some of the best racing you'll ever see. That was some of the best racing I think you will ever see. Wow. Joe Jefferson beats out Tim Gary by 0.03 of a second. In a last lap 3-wide move, he almost spun Tim Gary off of the turn 2. He just got good enough for a run down the front stretch to eke it out by about half a truck length. Let's actually go back to turn number 2 and watch these guys get sideways and almost wrecked. See right here, Jefferson is on the bumper of the 4 and almost spins him right there. Imagine if that 4 spins down to the inside wall, how different this race would be. See, we still have what, 1, 2, 3, about 6, 7 trucks with the shot. Tim Gary leaves the bottom open just a little bit. Joe Jefferson takes it, and now I believe Joe Jefferson should make the chase as they steam towards the finish line. And right there, Joe Jefferson ekes ahead to win the Great Clips 200 at Michigan. Let's now go check the finishing results. Here are the finishing results from the Great Clips 200 at Michigan. There were 2 caution flags for 8 laps and 6 lead changes among 7 different drivers. Joe Jefferson starts 7th. He was up there pretty much all race. He missed that big wreck by inches and gets to victory lane in a well-timed last lap pass on Tim Gary, who ends up 2nd but closes down the points lead to Luke Rainey. In 3rd, Junior Ramos, the guy who led the most laps of 6. So it just showed how diverse the competition was here today. Avi Hernandez in 4th, and DJ Reed leaned 4 laps. He rounds up 5th. Then you got Adam Lewis in 6th, Ron Emmerich in 7th, Jeff Bright 8th, Josiah Kaufman 9th, and Taylor Brian Price rounding out the top 10. So there's your top 20. So look at all these damaged trucks down here finishing. Taylor Brian Price in 10th. That truck was demolished. Ron Emmerich's truck had some pretty heavy front end damage. He ends up 7th. Jeff Bright, remember, spun around in that final wreck. He actually ends up 8th. Cynthia Bright was involved with Eli Bright, ends up 12th. Jake Moss, remember, got some damage. Josh Shamil, that truck was all torn up. JJ Reed didn't have a nose on the truck. Luigi Octavo, Eli Bright. Some of these guys down here just did not have trucks left to race with. Cortez Newman, your pole sitter, ends up in the 30th position, involved in one of the crashes. Alex Stewart, the last truck to finish on lead lap, in 23rd. And we actually only had 23 trucks finish the race. Luke Rainey ends up 22nd in your points there, loses a few points to the points lead. Or loses a few points to 2nd place. As let's now go look at those point standings. So, heading into the final race before the chase, here are the point standings. Luke Rainey has it by 11 points over Tim Gary in 2nd. Trey Rainey has fallen to 3rd in points. Lee Jack Table is 4th, and Joe Jefferson with his win is up to 5th. Then you got Jeff Bright in 6th, Junior Ramos 7th, Adam Lewis in 8th, Eli Bright in 8th, and Roland Emmerich rounding out the top 10. So there's your top 20, and with Joe Jefferson winning, it just changes that whole chase picture around. The highest in points now without a win, Junior Ramos in 7th, and most likely he's not going to get to the points lead in one race. He has to hope for a win now. But right now, your 10 drivers in are Trey Rainey, Jeff Bright, then Luke Rainey, Tim Gary, Louis Jactavo, Joe Jefferson, Adam Lewis, Eli Bright, Racer, and Julius Anderson has the final spot. He's tied with Racer. Avi Hernandez is a good amount back. He's about, what is that, about 54, 53, something along those lines. Not that far back. Derek Hamill's only 4 back of Hernandez. Lefter's only 6 back of Hamill. So any of these 3 can bump their way up past Anderson or Racer, depending on how the next race goes. Josh Samito can need some help, possibly a 2nd win. DJ Reed, he's had some great races. He just needs a 2nd victory after missing 2 races. How crazy would it be if he won the next race and ended up making the chase? Isaac Nichols, Jake Moss need a 2nd win as well. Cortez Newman and Brand Thunder, they have to hope they get a 2nd win and move up into the top 25 in points. So it's all going to come down to this last race of the regular season, which is at Martinsville, the AARP 250. See you guys then.